As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
My name is Gilberto Nojosa, chair of the Texas Democratic Party. Let's be clear, no matter what Governor Abbott says, we have suffered under his watch because of his actions. We are all hurting. Texans are demanding an end to this pandemic and a fair shot to get ahead. As Barbara Jordan said, what the people want is very simple. They want an America as good as its promise. Tonight, Texas Democrats invite you to hear from your fellow Texans.
My brother Joaquin and I grew up just a few blocks away from here, raised by our mother and our grandmother in this working class neighborhood. They taught us that in order for a community to thrive, there had to be people willing to show up and fight for it. As Texans and as Americans, we believe that everyone should have a fair shot at opportunity. Unfortunately, opportunity is out of reach for too many Texans today, and the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed just how many families are struggling to make ends meet. 35,000 Texas families have lost loved ones to this virus. The unemployment rate has more than doubled in the last year alone. And our state's leadership under Governor Abbott has failed to adequately respond, leaving Texas with one of the worst outbreaks and one of the worst responses in the entire nation.
The coronavirus has claimed too many lives, including my mother and my brother.
I wake up every day and I go to work where I'm face to face with a devastating impact.
We saw our coworkers drop off for 2 weeks and sometimes more. I'm a former meatpacking employee and now a union representative for 2 meatpacking plants.
I'm a respiratory therapist at Corpus Christi Medical Center for 40 years.
I'm Oscar Leisha, the mayor of El Paso, and while I know personally what it's like to have the family torn apart by this pandemic, I also know there's so many more Texans out there who are suffering.
We were working shoulder to shoulder, unable to social distance, taking precautions on our own.
Many of my fellow healthcare workers put their lives on the line to protect our communities.
The state and federal government need to take measurable steps towards securing the health and safety of all Texans. We need to work together with one goal, one voice to tackle the pandemic. I am committed to working with them and working towards a brighter future. Let's keep all Texans safe.
Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Come on, brothers, let's go down in the river to pray.
COVID-19 has hit Black and brown communities harder than anyone else in Texas.
Immigrants are performing essential work, risking their lives without having any access to health care. My name is Juana Guzman, and I am a community organizer with Raíces.
My name is Dr. Candice Matthews. I am the statewide Harris County Chapter Accountability Chair for the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats and an activist in the movement for Black Lives. Our communities are under attack from all sides.
COVID-19 has hit many communities very hard. In particular, people in detention are living an absolute brutal reality.
We are facing the constant threat of police brutality and grieving Patrick Warren, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and Javier Amler, and too many other Black Americans whose lives have been stolen.
Instead of wasting money on lawsuits and building a wall, politicians need to do better for all people in Texas.
Our communities should not have to live with trauma and fear of wondering if they or their families or their neighbors will be next to die from police brutality.
We demand that every single racist policy be uprooted, starting with SB 4. The mission at Raíces is simple, but it is also incredibly hard work. We defend the rights of immigrants and refugees, we empower individuals, families, and communities, and we advocate for human rights. We are asking legislators to strive to do the same.
Black lives matter, Black jobs matter, Black livelihoods matter, and Black communities matter. Keep rising for racial justice, because we would not know justice until it's reality for Black communities everywhere.
The COVID-19 pandemic uncovered the ugly truth of the inequities in our healthcare system. I'm State Representative Centrona Thompson of House District 141 from Houston. The fallout of this pandemic is only going to exacerbate the cost of health care even more. But I am hopeful that we will use our good senses and work together to provide 12 months postpartum care for women and draw down federal Medicaid dollars. For a long time, we have been leaving billions of Texas dollars on the table that belong to us, and it's time to bring that money home. Until women, particularly women of color, have access to health care and equal opportunities, I am going to be at your state capitol fighting to push women forward. I, along with my Texas Democrats, will continue to fight for you and your families in the legislature. I'll work with everyone to get things done and get things done right for you, because that's the Democratic way.
2 million Texans have contracted COVID-19. Businesses have closed. I'm State Senator Carol Alvarado from Houston, and I'm honored to talk about the state of our state. I wish I could tell you that the state of our state is strong and working for all Texans, but the sad truth is, it's not. 7 million Texans have filed unemployment claims.
And we need a state government that will fight for us. My name is Jared Strange. I'm a proud union iron worker representative for the state of Texas in the construction industry. We build Texas. Working Texans want a fair shot to get ahead, but the Republicans in charge at the Capitol aren't getting the job done. We're sick of politicians who care more about political donors than about our paychecks, and who we work to cut taxes for big business, even when those companies ship jobs overseas. We need higher wages, more access to job training and apprenticeships, good public schools for our kids, and we need better access to the COVID vaccine.
Families are struggling and haven't been able to get their kids back to school.
I know firsthand how Greg Abbott's failed leadership has truly impacted students like myself and those that are in education all across the state of Texas. My name is Ali Shirazi, and I'm a student at the University of Texas studying government. Greg Abbott's delayed response and mixed signaling left students, educators, teachers, and administration in the dark. I'm asking our Texas legislators to pass COVID-19 relief and guidelines to help our educators, our students, our school administration all across the state of Texas.
Texans are tough and resilient, but in order to get through these difficult times, we must get our priorities straight. That's why Texas Democrats have been pushing for years to expand Medicaid, because we're not okay with the fact that we are the nation's most uninsured state. We're not okay with the fact that only 1% of Texans are fully vaccinated for COVID. We're not okay with asking our teachers to go back into the schools without giving them the resources for safe classrooms.
This past year has been one of the most difficult ever. My name is Chris Turner, and I'm a state representative for District 101 in Tarrant County. Our community has been ravaged by the COVID-19 pandemic. We're also facing a challenging economic reality. The state has to step up and help people get back to work. This legislative session, Texas House Democrats will fight to expand health care access for millions of uninsured Texans. We'll fight for continuous coverage for children and new mothers so they aren't kicked off their health care, especially now when they need it the most. We'll fight for health equity, tackling the tragic and unacceptable racial disparities in our healthcare systems that this pandemic has exposed. And we'll help Texas workers and businesses get back on their feet. Texas House Democrats are committed to work for all Texans and provide real solutions for the challenges we face.
This session, let's roll up our sleeves, mask up, and pass common sense solutions to the critical needs of Texans.
They deserve leaders who are focused on keeping them and their families healthy and safe, not political games out of Washington. We have to hold our leaders accountable. We have to believe in science and listen to experts. And we have to get this virus under control so we can get our small businesses back open, get Texans back to work, and get our children back in the classroom. If we get this right, we can build a stronger Texas that works for everyone. If we don't, we'll continue to get left behind. Thank you.